Ethan's shuttle touched down on the glowing landing platform of Zyphora, a world he had only seen in photographs and holograms. The sky above shimmered with violet clouds, streaked by golden sunlight reflecting off the floating cities. Towering spires of crystal and metal rose from the ground, connected by sweeping bridges that seemed to hover in midair. Ethan felt both awe and nervousness. He had married Lyra just a few weeks ago, and now he was stepping into a culture far more advanced and complex than Earth's. Lyra was waiting for him at the landing pad, her skin shifting in soft iridescent patterns that reflected her mood. Today her hues were a calming blue with streaks of gentle gold. She smiled, a small mischievous curl at the corner of her mouth. "Welcome home, Ethan," she said, her voice melodic, yet carrying authority. "I hope you're ready for your first challenge." Ethan raised an eyebrow, trying to hide his curiosity and unease. "Challenge?" he asked. He had expected alien etiquette and maybe some ceremonies, but the word challenge made him tense. Lyra nodded, her expression turning serious. "Yes, there is something important I need from you, and it may surprise you." Ethan followed her through the crystal hallways of her family's estate. The walls shimmered like liquid glass, and soft lights floated without any visible source. He could hear the hum of strange machines in the background, and the faint whispers of Zyphoran language, soft and fluid. Finally, they arrived at a spacious room filled with hanging gardens and pools of clear water. A young woman stood there, nervously wringing her hands. Her skin glowed with a soft lavender light, her eyes large and curious. Ethan immediately noticed she looked different from Lyra, younger, less confident, but with a spark of intelligence in her gaze. "This is my sister Tira," Lyra said. "Ethan, I have a request." She paused, studying his expression. "I want you to help Tira gain experience with males." Ethan blinked. He stared at Lyra, unsure if he had heard correctly. What do you mean?" he asked cautiously. Lyra's golden streaks brightened. "Not what you think," she said quickly. "On Zyphora, young adults learn to interact with males of other species, not in the way humans imagine, but to gain confidence, social skill, and knowledge of diplomacy. Tira has had very little interaction outside our family. She needs guidance." Ethan relaxed slightly, though he still felt nervous. "Guidance? In social skills?" "Yes," Lyra confirmed. "We expect our younger members to understand male customs, gestures, and communication. It is important for her growth, and I trust you, Ethan. You are human, and humans have unique perspectives that can help." Tira gave a small nod, shyly glancing at Ethan. I've never spoken with males outside my family," she admitted softly. "I get nervous and often say the wrong thing. I don't want to disappoint my sister or anyone else." Ethan smiled gently. "That's okay. Everyone starts somewhere. I'll help you. We'll take it slow." Over the next hour, Ethan learned that Tira's inexperience was more about social interaction than romance. On Zyphora, young adults were taught how to negotiate, how to read emotions in other species, and how to maintain respectful interactions. It was a kind of etiquette school, but far more complex because of the variety of species involved. Ethan began by explaining simple Earth concepts: greeting others, maintaining eye contact, and using humor appropriately. Tira listened intently, nodding but occasionally frowning when something didn't make sense. "On Earth," Ethan said, "a smile usually means friendliness, not sarcasm. But here I noticed some males use expressions that change color patterns on their skin. You'll need to pay attention to that too." Tira's glowing patterns flickered as she tried to absorb the information. I see. "It is difficult," she admitted, her voice small but determined. "Don't worry," Ethan reassured her. "You'll get it. It just takes practice." He suggested a simple exercise, greeting him as if he were a male from another planet. Tira straightened, her hands floating slightly in the Zyphoran gesture of respect, and stepped forward. Her skin flickered nervously, shifting from lavender to a faint pink glow. "Hello, sir," she said, bowing slightly. "I am Tira," Ethan responded with an exaggerated Earth-style bow. "Hello, Tira. Nice to meet you." He added a grin to make her relax. "See? That wasn't too hard." Tira's glow lightened, showing a flicker of amusement. "It is strange," she said, laughing softly, "but not unpleasant." As the sun began to set over the floating city, Lyra joined them, her patterns glowing a warm gold. "You two seem to be making progress," she said. "I knew he would be perfect for this task." Ethan looked at her, half expecting teasing, but Lyra's expression was sincere. I want Tira to learn from someone who can guide her gently without pressure. I knew you would be patient. Tira looked at Ethan, her nerves slowly fading. Thank you, she said. I am glad you are helping me. I feel less afraid now. Ethan nodded. That's the goal. Tomorrow we will start meeting other males, different species, different cultures. I'll be with you every step of the way. Lyra chuckled softly, stepping back. Be prepared. Sephora is full of surprises. You never know what type of male you might encounter. Some are serious, some humorous, and some, well, eccentric, Ethan laughed. He felt a mixture of excitement and worry. He had trained in diplomacy on Earth, but nothing prepared him for the diversity of species on Zyphora. Yet he also felt a sense of purpose. He was not just a husband. He was a mentor now, helping Tira grow into a confident young adult capable of interacting with the galaxy. Tira floated beside him, her glow soft and calm. She seemed more relaxed than before. I hope I can do well, she said quietly. You will, Ethan said firmly. You already are. Confidence comes from trying, not from being perfect, and I'll be here to guide you. As night fell, the floating gardens glowed softly, casting reflections in the water pools. Ethan thought about the coming days. They would visit markets, meet alien merchants, attend small summits, and practice greetings and negotiations. Each encounter would teach Tira something new, and each mistake would be an opportunity to grow. For the first time since arriving on Zyphora, Ethan felt at home. The challenge was unexpected, but it was meaningful. He was helping a young mind navigate a vast and complex world, and somehow, through this unusual request, he was forming a bond with Lyra and Tira that went beyond marriage. It was trust, respect, and shared adventure. The night passed quietly, the city humming with life. Ethan slept in a small guest chamber, while Lyra and Tira's patterns glowed faintly outside his window, a comforting reminder that he was no longer alone in this strange, beautiful world. Tomorrow would bring the real lessons, and Ethan knew he would need all his patience, humor, and human ingenuity to guide Tira through her first interactions with males outside her family. But for now, he allowed himself a moment of calm, watching the alien stars twinkle in the lavender sky. This was the start of something extraordinary. The morning light on Zyphora revealed the city in all its radiant colors. Floating bridges shimmered like glass ribbons across the sky, and crystal towers reflected sunlight in a spectrum of colors. Ethan stepped onto one of the wide, hovering walkways, holding a small data pad that Lyra had given him. Today was the first day of Tira's practical training, meeting males from different species and learning how to interact with them confidently. Tira appeared beside him, her skin flickering soft lavender, tinged with faint golden sparks as she tried to calm her nerves. She had dressed in a simple, flowing tunic of woven light fibers that shimmered as she moved. Ethan noticed her hands fidgeting slightly, but there was determination in her eyes. Remember, Ethan said gently, confidence comes from observation first. Watch their body language, listen to their tone, and respond carefully. You don't need to know everything. Just show that you're attentive and respectful. Tira nodded. I understand. I will try my best. Their first stop was the interstellar market, a place bustling with traders from hundreds of species. The air was filled with sounds Ethan had never heard before. Clicking mandibles, melodic tones, low rumbles, and even brief flashes of light as some species communicated through bioluminescence. Tira's eyes widened in awe, and Ethan had to smile. He remembered his first day here. It had been overwhelming. Let's start simple, he said. Observe first. Just greet the males and introduce yourself. Don't worry about mistakes. Tira nodded and stepped forward with careful elegance. Her skin glowed faintly, showing her nervousness but also her focus. She approached a tall insectoid male with translucent wings and mandibles that clicked softly as he spoke. Greetings, she said softly, bowing slightly in the Zyphoran gesture of respect. The insectoid male paused, examining her carefully. Then, to Tira's surprise, he bowed in return and clicked his mandibles in what Ethan recognized as a friendly greeting. You see, Ethan whispered. You're doing fine. Just observe and respond. They moved through the market, meeting a mammalian species with fur that shifted colors according to emotion, a reptilian diplomat who flicked his tongue when curious, and a glowing energy-based being who communicated in pulses of light. Tira learned quickly, mimicking greetings and responding with gestures that showed respect and attentiveness. At one point, Tira misinterpreted a fur color shift as aggression and froze. Ethan stepped in quietly. "Relax," he said. "It's a friendly gesture. You'll get used to it." Tira took a deep breath and tried again. This time she succeeded, and her skin glowed a soft lavender with golden streaks of excitement. I think I am beginning to understand," she whispered. Ethan smiled. "Good. Observation is the key. Every species has its way of showing emotion and respect. The more you notice, the more confident you'll become." After the market, they visited a diplomatic training hall, a large room with holographic simulators designed to mimic negotiations with alien males. Ethan guided Tira through role-playing exercises, greeting dignitaries, making introductions and resolving misunderstandings. "Remember," Ethan instructed, "sometimes males will try to impress you with strange gestures or words. It doesn't mean anything negative. Just respond politely and stay calm." Tira's first simulation was with a holographic giant, 4 meters tall, with glowing eyes and enormous hands. She hesitated at first, but then followed Ethan's guidance, bowing respectfully and maintaining eye contact. The giant hologram responded with a deep, rumbling laugh, clearly pleased with her performance. "I did it?" Tira asked, a mixture of surprise and pride in her voice. "Yes, you did," Ethan said, smiling. "See what patience and attention can do." Throughout the day, Tira began to relax. She still had moments of hesitation, but each success, no matter how small, boosted her confidence. She even laughed at one moment when a holographic alien male sneezed a small cloud of sparkling dust, and she instinctively backed away, her skin flickering with embarrassment. Ethan laughed too, and Tira joined in, realizing that mistakes were part of learning. By late afternoon, they took a break in a floating garden, a serene area filled with bioluminescent plants that glowed in soft shades of blue and green. The water in the shallow pools reflected the colors above, creating a peaceful, magical scene. Lyra joined them, her skin patterns swirling in warm golds and blues. "You've been busy," she said, looking at Tira with pride. "How do you feel?" Tira hesitated, then smiled. "I feel like you're more confident. I still make mistakes, but I think I can handle real situations now. I understand why you wanted me to do this." Ethan glanced at Lyra. "She's learning quickly. The practical exercises really help." Lyra smiled. "You've been patient, Ethan. That is exactly what I hoped for. And Tira, you are brave. Many would be too nervous to try." As the evening approached, a small commotion occurred near the floating garden. A male from a nearby city had come to collect rare plants for trade. He was tall, with scales that shifted colors rapidly, and he moved with fluid elegance. Tira hesitated, unsure how to greet him. Ethan stepped beside her. "Just relax. Greet him, introduce yourself, and respond to his gestures." Tira took a deep breath and approached. "Greetings, sir," she said, bowing slightly. "I am Tira of the Zyphoran family. It is an honor to meet you." The male observed her carefully. Then, to her relief, he bowed and extended a hand. Tira glanced at Ethan, who nodded encouragingly. She shook his hand gently, mirroring his movements. Her skin glowed with soft golden streaks of pride. "You did very well," Ethan whispered. "See, you can handle these interactions." The alien male smiled and offered her a small, luminescent flower as a gift. Tira accepted it gracefully, her nerves finally giving way to delight. After the encounter, Ethan and Tira returned to the estate. The city lights shimmered against the night sky, floating vehicles casting moving reflections in the water below. Tira's skin glowed a calm lavender streaked with gold, a clear sign of her newfound confidence. "You were amazing today," Ethan said. "You learned quickly, and you handled yourself with grace. Each interaction teaches you something new." Tira nodded, smiling. I never thought I could do this, but with your guidance, it feels possible." Lyra entered the room, her patterns glowing a warm, proud gold. "You did well, Tira, and Ethan. Thank you. You have given her more than just training. You've given her confidence, patience, and understanding." Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. "It was my pleasure. I'm learning too, about your world, your culture, and how humans can adapt." Tira floated over to Lyra and hugged her sister tightly. "Thank you for helping me grow," she whispered. "I feel stronger today." Lyra smiled, turning to Ethan. Tomorrow the training becomes more challenging. You will meet males who are not as patient, who may test your skills. But I trust both of you, and I think you are forming a bond that will make these lessons more meaningful. Ethan laughed softly, realizing that Lyra's teasing tone carried a hint of truth. He had started this journey unsure, awkward, and nervous. But now, as he looked at Tira's proud and confident expression, he understood the value of his guidance, patience, and the human perspective he brought to this alien world. As the night deepened, the floating gardens glowed softly, reflecting the light of distant stars. Ethan knew that the next days would bring more challenges, more lessons, and perhaps more humorous misunderstandings. But for the first time, he felt truly part of Zyphora's strange, vibrant society, and part of a family that trusted him to guide a young mind through growth and discovery. Tomorrow, the real adventures would begin, but tonight, there was a sense of calm satisfaction. Tira had learned, grown, and begun to shine in ways she never thought possible. And Ethan, he was ready to face whatever surprises this alien world had in store. The stars above shimmered, reflecting in the pools of water, and Ethan realized that in helping Tira, he had also learned something profound about humanity, about patience, empathy, and the universal power of guidance and understanding. This was only the beginning. The following morning, Zyphora's sun rose over the floating city, painting the crystal towers with gold and violet light. Ethan woke with a sense of anticipation. Today was Tira's first encounter with real diplomatic challenges, where she would meet males from multiple species, each with their own customs and ways of communication. Tira floated into the breakfast room, her glowing lavender skin now showing streaks of determined gold. She had clearly prepared herself mentally for what lay ahead. "I'm ready," she said, her voice steady, though her hands twitched slightly with nervous energy. Ethan nodded. "Remember everything we practiced. Observe first, then respond. Confidence comes from understanding, not rushing." Lyra joined them, her patterns glowing a soft blend of blue and gold. "You will do fine," she said to Tira. "Remember, this is about learning and diplomacy, not perfection. And Ethan, I trust you'll guide her." The three of them traveled to the Interstellar Summit Hall, a massive structure hovering over the city, its walls made of transparent crystal that reflected the sky and surrounding floating gardens. Inside, representatives from dozens of species had gathered, mammalian, reptilian, insectoid, and even a few beings composed of pure energy. Males dominated the initial sessions, and it was Tira's task to navigate these interactions gracefully. Ethan took her hand lightly. "Let's start simple. Observe first, then introduce yourself. Pay attention to gestures and tone. Every species is different." Their first encounter was with a giant four-armed reptilian male who had a habit of spreading his claws wide when curious. Tira froze at first, intimidated by his size, but Ethan whispered, "Bow slightly. Maintain eye contact and smile. You can do this." Tira followed his advice. She bowed carefully, keeping her gaze steady, and extended a friendly gesture with her hands. The reptilian male's eyes narrowed, and for a tense moment Tira thought she had failed. Then he inclined his head and emitted a low rumble of approval. Her skin glowed in vibrant shades of lavender and gold, relief and pride washing over her. "You see?" Ethan said quietly. "You handled it perfectly." Next was a telepathic species, males who communicated without sound, sending thoughts in waves that washed over the mind. Tira had to focus intently, filtering out her own nervous thoughts to interpret their messages. At first she struggled, confused by the flood of alien concepts and imagery. "Focus on the main ideas," Ethan instructed. "Don't get lost in the details. Respond with simplicity and respect." Tira nodded and slowly sent back clear, polite thoughts. The males paused, then projected an image of a glowing flower, signaling approval. Tira smiled, glowing gold with pride. "Excellent," Ethan said. "You're beginning to understand the essence of communication. Listening first, then responding thoughtfully." As the day continued, Tira faced a mammalian species whose males changed fur color to show emotion. They greeted her with fur shifting from deep blue to bright orange. She froze at first, misinterpreting it as anger, but Ethan whispered, "Observe the pattern. They are friendly." Carefully, Tira mirrored a polite gesture she had learned, and the male's fur shifted to green, signaling satisfaction. Tira laughed quietly, feeling more confident with each successful interaction. Later, a small energy-based male arrived, bouncing and pulsing erratically. His movements were unpredictable and Tira struggled to match his gestures. Ethan stepped beside her, guiding her hand gently. Respond in kind, match his rhythm, but stay calm. You can do it. Tira concentrated and began to move in sync, her skin shimmering in soft golden streaks. The energy being pulsed brighter, a clear sign of approval. Tira grinned, exhilarated. I did it. Yes, Ethan said, smiling. You did. And each of these interactions is building your confidence and understanding. During a short break, Lyra joined them with a tray of luminescent fruit. I'm impressed, she said to Tira. You've faced many challenges today and handled them all with grace. Tira glanced at Ethan, her eyes bright. I couldn't have done it without him, she admitted. He explained everything and helped me remain calm. Ethan felt a warmth of pride. You did the hard work, he said. I just guided you. You faced each challenge bravely. The afternoon brought the real test, a multi-species negotiation exercise. Tira would need to speak to several males at once, each representing different planets. The objective was to find common ground on trade agreements and cultural exchanges. Ethan whispered, Stay calm. Address each male respectfully. Notice how they interact with one another. You are the observer first, the participant second. Tira took a deep breath and stepped forward. At first, the males spoke over each other in rapid bursts of sound, light and movement. Tira's skin flickered nervously, showing her anxiety. Ethan guided her subtly, pointing out signals and gestures. Gradually, she began to respond, addressing each male politely and acknowledging their points. She used simple gestures learned earlier, and slowly, the chaotic session began to smooth into productive discussion. By the end of the exercise, the males nodded in approval, some even offering Tira small gifts of symbolic items, a crystal orb, a flower, and a delicate sculpture. Tira held them carefully, glowing with pride and relief. You managed it, Ethan said quietly. You turned chaos into understanding. Lyra joined them, her patterns glowing with pride. Tira, you've done more than I imagined. You've learned to navigate complexity, understand multiple species, and maintain your composure. That is true growth. Tira floated beside Ethan, her hands clutching the gifts. I feel stronger now, she said softly. I think I can face any male now, even those who seem intimidating. Ethan smiled. And that's the point. Confidence doesn't come from never making mistakes. It comes from learning, observing, and adapting. Today, you proved that you can do all three. As the summit hall emptied, the three of them stepped onto a balcony overlooking the floating city. Lights sparkled below like stars, and air vehicles moved gracefully between towers. Ethan noticed Tira's skin now glowed in steady lavender and gold, a clear signal of calm confidence and pride. You've changed, Ethan said quietly, glancing at her. From nervous and unsure to confident and capable. You handled diplomacy and cultural differences with patience and grace. That's remarkable. Tira smiled, a faint blush of gold in her glow. I could not have done this without you. You taught me more than just gestures and words. You taught me how to stay calm, to observe, and to respond with respect. I feel ready for more. Lyra stepped beside them, her glow warm and steady. You've exceeded my expectations, Tira, and Ethan. You have proven that humans bring a valuable perspective. Your patience, humor, and guidance helped her grow faster than anyone could imagine. Ethan chuckled softly. I just followed the path. Tira did all the hard work. I just offered guidance. The night fell over the floating city, bathing it in a soft purple glow. The air was filled with the hum of distant vehicles and the gentle sounds of flowing water from hanging gardens. Ethan realized that the next days would bring even more challenges, more complex negotiations, more unpredictable species, and more situations where patience, understanding, and observation would be key. But for the first time, he felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Tira had faced her first real diplomatic tests and emerged stronger and more confident. He could see the bond growing between them, not romantic, but one of trust, respect, and shared experience. As they returned to the estate, Tira floated beside him, glowing softly in lavender and gold. Tomorrow, she said, I want to try on my own. I want to see if I can handle interactions without guidance. Ethan nodded. I believe you can. But remember, I'll be nearby. Even the most confident need support sometimes. Lyra smiled from the doorway, her glow warm and proud. I knew this would work. Today proved that guidance, patience, and trust can help a young mind navigate challenges that once seemed impossible. Ethan looked at the glowing city outside, then back at Tira and Lyra. He realized that helping Tira was not just about teaching her skills. It was about human ingenuity, empathy, and patience making a real difference in an alien world. Tonight, the floating gardens would glow softly, the air humming with life, and the city lights reflecting in the water. Ethan felt a sense of calm satisfaction. Tira had grown, and he had played a small but meaningful role in her journey. The next day promised even greater challenges, but for now, there was peace, pride, and hope. Proof that humans could thrive and inspire in even the most alien environments. This was the moment Ethan realized that helping others grow, understanding their culture and offering guidance was perhaps the greatest adventure of all. The sun rose over Zifira, casting a soft violet glow across the floating city. Today was the day Tira would put all her skills to the ultimate test. The Interstellar Council had invited her to participate in a ceremonial gathering, a rare event where young adults demonstrated their abilities to communicate, negotiate, and interact with males from many worlds. For Tira, this was not only a test of etiquette, but also a demonstration of her growth and confidence. Ethan stood beside her, offering calm reassurance. Remember everything you've learned. Observe first, respond thoughtfully, and remain confident. You've already proven yourself more than once. Tira's glow shimmered softly in lavender with golden streaks. I'm ready, she said quietly. Her voice had a steadiness that surprised even Ethan. Lyra joined them, her patterns swirling in warm gold. You've done wonderfully so far, Tira. Today you will show the council what you can do. And Ethan, thank you for guiding her. Your patience has been invaluable. The council hall was enormous, with crystal walls reflecting the floating city outside. Males of every imaginable species had gathered, their forms ranging from towering reptilians to delicate energy beings, and from fur-covered mammalians to insectoid traders with clicking mandibles. The room was alive with sound, light, and movement. Tira inhaled deeply, centering herself. Ethan guided her to the center of the hall. Start with greetings, he whispered. Be observant. Adjust as needed. You can do this. The first males approached, a group of reptilian elders, each with scales that shifted colors to express emotion. Tira remembered her lessons: bow slightly, maintain steady eye contact, and respond politely to gestures. She did so with care, her glowing skin a soft lavender that reflected her calm focus. The elders inclined their heads and shifted their scales to display respect and approval. Tira allowed herself a small smile, feeling a thrill of accomplishment. She glanced at Ethan, who nodded approvingly. Next, a telepathic male approached, sending images and thoughts in rapid succession. Tira focused, filtering the incoming signals and responding with clear, polite thoughts. The male's glow brightened in recognition, signaling approval. Tira's confidence grew with each successful interaction. The gathering became more complex as multi-species groups arrived, requiring Tira to interact with multiple males at once. She carefully observed each male, noting their gestures, expressions, and tone. She responded thoughtfully, addressing concerns, acknowledging points, and maintaining respect. At one moment, a mischievous, energy-based male pulsed erratically, trying to confuse her with rapid light flashes. Tira paused, then remembered Ethan's advice: stay calm, respond thoughtfully, and adapt. She mirrored his flashes in a controlled rhythm, demonstrating both understanding and composure. The male pulsed brighter in approval, a sign that she had successfully navigated the challenge. Throughout the morning, Tira handled a variety of scenarios, negotiating with a fur-covered mammalian trader, calming a giant insectoid male upset over a minor misunderstanding, and even participating in a joint cultural exchange exercise where several species presented customs and gifts. Each time she remained calm, respectful, and attentive. Ethan watched with pride. Tira had transformed from a shy, nervous young alien into a confident, capable diplomat. Every gesture, every response showed growth, intelligence, and the human guidance she had received. During a brief pause, Lyra approached. I am proud of you, Tira. Today proves that you have learned to navigate complex social interactions even under pressure. And Ethan, your guidance has been extraordinary. Tira floated beside her sister, her glow calm and steady. I could not have done this without him, she said softly. He helped me remain calm, understand gestures, and respond with respect. I feel strong now, Ethan smiled. You did all the hard work. I just guided you. You faced every challenge bravely and thoughtfully. The final part of the ceremony involved a group exercise where Tira had to mediate a discussion between several alien males with differing opinions on a trade agreement. The room was tense, males gesturing, shifting colors, and emitting sounds in rapid succession. Tira felt a flicker of nervousness but remembered Ethan's words. Observe first. Respond thoughtfully and remain calm. She began by addressing each male individually, acknowledging their points and concerns. She used gestures she had practiced, mirrored expressions when appropriate, and maintained steady composure. Slowly, the chaos of competing opinions began to settle, and the discussion became productive. By the end, the males nodded in approval, offering symbolic gifts of respect. A crystal, a glowing flower, and a miniature sculpture of a city. Tira accepted each with grace, her skin glowing a steady lavender and gold, a clear sign of her achievement. Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. You did it, Tira. You turned confusion into understanding and respect. That is the mark of a true diplomat. Lyra joined them, her patterns swirling warmly. Tira, you have exceeded all expectations. Today proves that with guidance, patience, and courage, one can grow beyond fear and hesitation. You have learned to understand others, respect differences, and act with confidence. Tira floated beside Ethan, holding her gifts. I feel proud and grateful. I have learned so much about myself and about how humans see the world. Thank you, Ethan, for guiding me. Ethan smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. You did it yourself. I only helped you see the way. You faced every challenge and succeeded. As the ceremony concluded, the three of them stepped onto a balcony overlooking the floating city. Lights sparkled below like stars, reflecting in the water of the hanging gardens. Tira's glow shimmered in calm lavender and gold, a visible testament to her confidence and growth. You've grown so much, Ethan said quietly, from nervous and unsure to confident and capable. I'm proud of you, Tira smiled. I feel ready for anything now. I can meet any male, learn from them, and interact with respect and confidence. All because you helped me, Lyra chuckled softly, and I am proud of both of you. Ethan, you have shown that humans can teach patience, understanding, and calm in ways that even our elders value. Tira, you have shown courage, intelligence, and a willingness to grow. This is a moment to celebrate. That evening, they returned to the estate for a floating garden celebration. The gardens glowed in soft, shifting colors, reflecting the light of alien stars above. Floating lanterns drifted through the air, carrying scents of rare flowers. Other family members joined, congratulating Tira and acknowledging her successful training. Tira moved gracefully among the guests, her confidence evident in every gesture. She guided younger aliens in greetings, showing them the skills she had learned. Ethan watched, feeling pride not just in her success but in the human guidance that had helped make it possible. Lyra approached them, glowing with pride. You both have done more than I could have imagined. Today proves that understanding, empathy, and guidance can bridge any cultural gap. Humans and Zyphorans working together create something extraordinary. Ethan nodded. It's been an honor. I've learned just as much as Tira. Your world, your people, they are incredible, and I'm glad I could help in a small way. Tira floated beside them, glowing softly. I feel complete. Today I faced challenges, learned from mistakes, and grew stronger. I could not have done it without Ethan. Thank you for guiding me. The three of them looked out over the glowing city, the floating towers reflecting in pools of water below. Ethan realized that this experience had shown him something profound. Human patience, empathy, and guidance can have a lasting impact, even across worlds and species. The night was calm, the city alive with soft hums of floating vehicles and the gentle glow of bioluminescent plants. Ethan knew the future held many more challenges, but for now there was peace, pride, and accomplishment. Tira had grown from a nervous, inexperienced young alien into a confident, capable individual, ready to face any social or diplomatic challenge. Lyra had shown trust in her sister and in Ethan, and Ethan had proven that humans could thrive and inspire even in the most alien environments. As they stood together, the stars above reflecting in the city below, Ethan realized that this journey was more than just about guidance. It was about patience, understanding, and the universal power of support and learning. Tonight, Zyphora glowed brighter than ever, and Ethan, Tira, and Lyra felt a shared sense of accomplishment and hope. This was the moment when cultures, species, and hearts connected, and when humans truly shone in the galaxy. It was the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, full of growth, understanding, and the promise of more adventures to come.